The glories of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita from the Padma Purana. Lord Shiva said, "My dear Parvati, now I will relate to you the glories of the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There was a town of the name Mahishmati on the bank of Narmada river, where one Brahmana of the name Madhava lived. That Brahmana very strictly followed all the injunctions of the Vedas and possessed all the good qualities of the Brahmanical class. Due to his being so learned, he would receive a lot of charity. And with his accumulated wealth, he started to perform a great fire sacrifice. For offering a sacrifice, one goat was bought. And when they started to cleanse that goat in preparation for its sacrifice, to everyone's great surprise, the goat started to laugh and in a loud voice said, "O Brahmana, what is the benefit of performing so many fire sacrifices that simply bind us up in the wheel of birth and death? Just see my position due to my performing so many fire sacrifices." When everyone gathered there heard the words of the goat, they became curious. And that Brahmana inquired with folded hands, "How did you become goat? In your previous life, which caste did you belong to, and what activities did you perform?" The goat replied, "O Brahmana, in my previous birth I was born in a very pure Brahmana family, and I very carefully performed all the ritualistic activities enjoined in the Vedas. One day my wife wished to worship Durga so that our child might be cured of his disease. For this purpose she requested me to bring one goat. When we sacrificed the goat at the temple of Mother Durga, the goat cursed me, "O sinful lowest of all, you wish to make my children fatherless? For this reason you will also take birth as a goat. O Madhava, when the time came for my death, I attained this body of a goat, but by the grace of Lord Govinda I can remember my previous births. If you wish to hear one other interesting story, then I will tell you. In the place known as Kurukshetra, which is capable of giving liberation, there once lived a king of the name Chandra Sharma, who was in the dynasty of the sun god. Once at the time of solar eclipse, the king wished to give charity to one Brahmana. Included in that charity was a Shudra, whose body was completely black. After going with his priest and taking bath in the sacred lake, putting on clean cloth and applying sandalwood, he returned to his place. With devotion he gave charity to a qualified Brahmana. After he had presented the charity, all of a sudden from that black Shudra's heart, one very sinful Chandala dog-eater appeared, and after a little while a female Chandala appeared from the black Shudra's body, and together they went close to the Brahmana. All of a sudden, they entered into the body of the Brahmana. The Brahmana remained undisturbed and started to chant the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita while remembering Lord Govinda. The king, witnessing all these activities, was stunned, unable to say anything. As soon as the words of the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita came on the lips of that Brahmana, the Vishnu Dutas appeared there and chased away those two Chandalas. At that time the king inquired from Brahmana, "O learned one, who were those two persons, and which mantra did you chant? Which deity did you remember?" The Brahmana replied, "Taking the form of a Chandala, sin personified appeared, along with the offense personified in the form of that female Chandala. At that time I started chanting the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is capable of releasing one from all sinful and fearful situations. By reciting the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I am always able to remember the lotus feet of Lord Govinda." Upon hearing this, the king learned the chanting of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, from the Brahmana. Gradually he managed to attain the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. When Madhava heard this discourse from the goat, he immediately freed the goat and started to engage in reciting the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita daily. And he also attained the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. Thus ends the glories of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita from the Padma Purana.